All right, pardon the interruption on the last part. So now we're going to come back in and we're kind of going to go back in and try to address some of the questions we got and things like that. So Trey's Cat Titan, you said something about being first or whatever the case may be, but I think it's a little weird that you have a wrench next to your name as if you're a moderator. You're not a moderator. I also think it's very weird the amount of posts that you put on like everything, and it's all like random stuff. I mean, I don't know if you mean well, but I don't know what that's supposed to be about. So tell you what I'm going to do. Because I don't trust you, I'm going to ban you. And it is literally that easy. Because if I don't trust you, and I don't know who you are, I've never seen you on this channel before, and you show up and you're putting wrenches next to your name and you're like blowing up the chat, not interested. And that's just how it has to be. Sorry, man. Anyway, what's going on, Handycart? An actual moderator with an actual wrench, an actual member. Thank you for stopping by again. Now we're going to resume where we were, and we're going to talk about some finer things. So just a quick little recap from the last part. Essentially, in a nutshell, there are a couple TVs like the Vizio MQ6 this year of 2022 that I recommend. I think that'll be better for you in terms of being, again, inflation friendly, surviving all this nonsense that we're dealing with price hikes and all that. And then outside of that, you have your, I would say, on the higher end, like $800 again, your LG A2. And then for like the mid-range to higher end LED, you want to be looking at the Hisense U8H. And then for the premium, but still keeping it in line with a decent budget, then you're looking at the Samsung S95B. Now, I do know that there has been an increased amount of questions about 75-inch and 85-inch TVs, and I'll just specify, I'm exclusively like I would say comfortably 55 to 65-inch size reviewer. I don't really care about Jumbotron TVs like 75, 85-inch, 90-inch. You know, that's just not my thing, simply because I understand that the wider you zoom in on a picture or you crop the image, you're just losing a ton of image quality. So as somebody who does this for years and years and years, I just don't recommend that because, yes, sure, it's immersive for some people, but for me, it's not something that I like to cover because I know what you lose, and I preach about picture quality and being beyond reference and all that fun stuff. So that's what I'll just say there. So hopefully that gives you a little recap on where we were, and I'm going to jump into the chat. So shout out to Jay Daniels. Thank you for becoming a new member, brother. I appreciate you. And we're going to try to move on here with Handycart. You said, sorry, just got here, Q. You said, should have taken care of that. It's all right, man. I mean, listen, it's going to happen. People are going to come in and out. It's fine. I'm really not, like, pressed about it. I'll just see it, and then I'll just be like, oh, okay, that's what that is. It is what it is. So you're good, brother. Thanks for stopping by tonight. If you have questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer it. And for anybody wondering, the Pumpkin Gang is officially back. So shout out to Jay Daniels. You are the first person to get his very own pumpkin. And look at that snazzy little smiley face you got there, brother. Look at that. Pumpkin Gang all day, every day, man. Gotta love it. All right, so you guys want into the Pumpkin Gang, make sure you send those super chats. Make sure we have some fun. And let's continue on. So we're going to have Snoop Dogg. That's a funny name. It's funny because like I see it says Snoop Dogg, but there's like a white guy on the picture, and I'm like, what? It was like a little play in my mind here. Like a little twist of words, I suppose. I don't know. It was a mind fuck. That's what we'll call it. So is anyone getting the sound out of the sync, or getting the sound out of sync? You said, hey, I mean, yeah, let me know if the audio is good and if the sync is off. Like, I'm looking at it here. It looks fine. Kinda. I don't know. Maybe it's a little laggy. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know. Feedback is key for these kinds of things. As far as more questions, Cajun, you said, I'm planning on buying the Samsung S95B. Should I keep it offline? Yes. So I'll make a video kind of explaining why you never update later down the road, and I'll kind of go into some of the finer points. But essentially, the Samsung S95B particularly has received some nerfs. Now, counteractively, I've received, at this point, thousands upon thousands of people saying that 1302 fixed it and it's all back to normal. I won't take the chance. I'm currently on firmware 1082. I'm not going off of firmware 1082, and that's just where it has to live. But for everybody else, if you get it and it's shipping at that firmware, then it's supposedly better. but I, again, won't know. So I would keep it offline unless you're not happy with your performance, but there you go. Matthew Rios, what's going on? You said, dude, I like how, I like how you're so honest, like your banner says, the #1 channel in honesty. Yeah, you know, it's transparency. I think everybody deserves that, and I do appreciate when people like you see it and we can just come out and have these candid conversations. You can bring your questions and get a real consultation, get real advice for your buying habits and needs and stuff like that so that you find the right product. Because, dude, like, I can't tell you how annoying it is for me personally, like, just to cut the shit, clear the air, you know, just be a normal person. Like, I'm there, I'm buying whatever it is in life, and then there's all of this, like, I would call it consumer propaganda almost. You know, like, deleting reviews that are negative so things look better. And I've seen this happen even with businesses. It's not even just like product reviews. Like, I'll go to a place and like months ago I'll be at a place and they'll have like, let's say 4.0 average. I'll come back and all the reviews that were negative, they got it to a 4.0, completely deleted and gone. They're all from individual accounts and normal people, but they're gone. And I don't know where the shielding mindset comes from, where like we just delete reviews off of businesses. So, like, reviews nowadays, to me, I've come to learn, don't really mean anything. So, like, I try to step in as like just like a real person and just tell you guys how it is. So thank you for noticing that, and of course being a part of this community here. We've got Shearsey, what's going on? You said, hi mate, very disappointing here in Australia that the Hisense uses a different panel compared to the US one I was going to get for my U8G in my son's room to replace his old Sony. And what's the deal with that? I have been hearing a lot of people say, like, in Australia, Hisenses are apparently really dog shit. But, like, give me a little bit more in terms of details. Is it, like, because it's an IPS? Does it have, like, a lot of blooming? Like, nobody goes into specifics. I just hear it's really bad. So if you could help me out with that, that'd be fantastic, brother. We've got Jordan. What's going on? You said the new Hisense with the 144 hertz refresh rate. You said worth the look? Question mark. I mean, I'll be very honest with you. I don't put Hisense in any realm of competent when we talk about PC gaming. So even though they boast like 144 hertz, I mean, they're still going to be limited in a lot of aspects. It's still going to have some problems. And I had some connectivity issues when hooking up to my 3080 Ti, so it was not really something that was very easy to do. I mean, obviously you hook it up, it's easy, but in terms of like getting it to like recognize signals, sometimes it was having a problem with that, especially once you start getting up into higher color depth. That's where it really struggles. You're pretty much locked to chroma sampling 420, which is pretty much trash at 8-bit color. I mean, I don't know why I can't do chroma sampling 444 at 8-bit color with something like, you know, 1440p at 60 FPS. Like, that's not asking a whole lot to go up to that extra chroma sampling, but it did not want to do that. So that's something that I don't know, something I have a problem with. Yes, it is out of sync. Unfortunately, I don't really know how to get it back in sync, so hopefully it just kind of takes care of itself as the stream goes on. I know that's a ridiculous thing, but that's kind of the best play I've got here right now. Do the black levels rise noticeably on the U8H when on full brightness? So to answer the first part of this question, yes and no. So when you're looking at, for example, super contrasty, like demo-centric content, for example, I don't know if you've seen the Spears and Munsell UHD benchmarking disc, how they have, like, for example, a big-ass flower on a black background. You won't see any problems when you start going full-screen brightness. But when you start to get to more challenging geometry, like, let's say you're at a campfire scene and, you know, it's a movie with subtitles, you're going to have some problems. You know, you're going to see, like, where there's a little bit more glow, but it is not, like, straight up like a blooming mess. It's a lot closer to OLED than I think Mini LED has ever been. Then it's really impressive to see. But again, it's not perfect. But unless you're at really complex campfire scene type geometry with subtitles and stuff like that, constantly changing, you know, the geometry of the text, I think, again, you'll be fine. It was pretty fantastic, and for proof of that, you can go look how I compared it against the Samsung S95B, which is the best TV right now you can buy. And it not only held its own, but it like really surprised me in the sense that like black levels were pretty much a match for like 99.9% of everything I put up. It was really shocking, actually. So yeah, hopefully that helps with the first part. Now the second part, what does a complete black screen look like in a complete black room? OLED, 100%. So how it looks like OLED is that, again, it's local dimming technology. Like, OLED uses a type of dimming technology as well, but instead of zones, it's self-emissive. So each individual pixel out of like the 8 million pixels will shut off. So in turn, what ends up happening on local dimming is like anything that looks like it should be black, those zones turn off. But if you have no contrast, you have no color, it's all black, the whole screen shuts off and it's just as dark as any OLED on a fully black screen. So black is truly OLED black when you're talking about just the color black. But it's when you start getting to, again, more geometry-centric type things, or you start getting to more advanced luminosity pieces and things like that, you will run into the differences between OLED and that, because it doesn't have the ability to shut off every single black pixel and things like that. However, now, that's not to be mistaken, because there are instances where OLED can just be a joke, right? Where, like, it can have raised blacks. We've heard about that from time to time. I'm sure many of you have heard of raised black on OLEDs before. So it's not always like the self-emissive nature, you know, solves everything and fixes everything, but it does enough to help. So hopefully that kind of explains the question. Actually, I think your audio is out of sync, Q. I don't know, though. My audio probably is out of sync. I'm not an audio whiz. It's like ending the last stream where the audio was good and starting back up. OBS gives me all kinds of problems. I mean, if you guys have a solution like alternative streaming software, that'd be great, because OBS is dog shit even though it's free. I mean, I can't really complain too much because it's free, but I really don't like OBS for these reasons. I always have some sort of glitch, bug, connection issue. So, unfortunately, just try to listen to the audio and work through it with me, because I really am not a wizard at this. I don't know how to fix those kinds of things when they go bad, when they were once fine. We've got Junior Stag. What's going on, man? You said, I have a habit of leaving the PS5 and PC home screen on. Will the S95B get burning? Likely. I won't say yes or no, but it's your odds are so much higher when you get to tiles. I don't know what it is about tiles, but every single OLED that I've seen that gets burning, it is because of two things usually. Tiles on like a user interface screen, whether it's a home menu for the TV itself, PS5, Xbox home menus, things like that, or station logos, whether it's you watching TikTok on your phones or whatever, that like logos burn in easily. So if you're talking about you just like leave it on, it possibly could get burned in. Now, there are things in the television to kind of protect you, like obviously screensavers. It'll dim down gradually to the point of basically zero light output after a while, and you can set it up to where after a certain amount of time of just leaving the TV on, it just turns itself off. So those are options, but typically you don't want to be leaving tiles. I would try to work on that, because that's the only thing that I would say like you're getting into dangerous territory here, because I can't guarantee like obviously you'll be fine doing that. We've got does that affect the life of the pixels? I'm sorry, does it affect the life of the pixel if you shut it off and on? So you mean like if you turn the TV on and off? Or if you, I don't understand, like you mean like the local dimming algorithm for, you know, I don't know, full array or so on and so forth, because you can turn off and on local dimming all day, every day. It doesn't affect the life of the pixels at all, because it's not truly self-emissive. It's more of an algorithmic thing to turn light bulbs on and off. Think of it like a switch, where on a self-emissive display like an OLED, there's really nothing you can do to disable it. You know, it's always going to do some form of self-emissive dimming, because that's just the nature of the technology, more or less. Now, of course, people try to do things like go into the, you know, service menu and hack the ABL basically by disabling it and stopping it from working, but of course that's not advisable either, because that will destroy your panel, that will cause a ton of warranty issues in the form of you not having one anymore, and it's just not worth it really. But in terms of like regular full array local dimming, no, it wouldn't do anything to you. Shout out to Big C Dub. Thank you, brother, for joining, rejoining, becoming a member. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for helping the channel out, and joining the pumpkin gang. I think there's a pumpkin coming your way, brother. We've got Spiros. What's going on? You said, love from Montreal, brother. Thank you for helping consumers worldwide. I appreciate that, man. I really do my best to try to make sure everybody's getting squared away, so thank you for recognizing it. You go on to say the Hisense U8H in Canada, 65-inch, $1,800. You say Canadians keep on getting shafted by Best Buy. Yeah, at $1,800 for literally the 65-inch, which right now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the 75 inch here in the US is like $14.99, and so yeah, you guys are absolutely getting shafted for no good reason, paying more than our 75 inch. Like, I never understood that with Canadian prices. I knew they were more, but I didn't know why. We've got, we'll end up purchasing a 65 inch TCL R646 for about $1,200. Yeah, if you can still find it, I guess that would be the next appropriate model. Every live stream, this cough comes back. I don't know what it is about live streams. I haven't been coughing all day. I've been fine, and now I'm doing a live stream is back. Now, some people wanted me to name the cough Vincent, and I think that's the funniest thing in the world. So we'll say good old Vincent done came back in the middle of a live stream, just like that. But yeah, hopefully that TCL comes good, because sometimes I've run into issues with like misalignment issues from shipping and things like that on particularly TCLs. But those were the older ones, to be fair. The newer ones seem to be okay, but I think, again, you should be fine. It's the next closest thing to a Hisense, and I think that's just as real as it gets. I think if you can, though, maybe try to buy the S546, because it does a little bit better in terms of like picture quality. The TCL R646 does have a black crush problem. You will have to do a balancing act. I did have settings, but they got taken down because Star Wars music played in a video game, if you would imagine. So there's not much I could do there, but hopefully I can help. And Big C Dub, here's your pumpkin. Welcome to the pumpkin gang. All day, every day. Big C Dub, there you go. Snazzy little smiley face there. And I appreciate all you guys who are, watching, having fun with us, coming out tonight and asking your questions. We have, did you see the S95B go on Awesome Daily Deal? That Awesome Daily Deal, what was the deal though? Because I know like it's been at like, I think like $16.99 was like the best price I saw on it. Outside of that, I haven't seen anything. What's going on, Brandon? You said, as long as we can hear you good, but audio on YouTube is out. You said mobile is good, though. I don't know what you mean. The audio on YouTube is out, but mobile is good. So, like, are you watching it on the YouTube application or, like, whatever the case may be? Because I really don't know. Dude, your Sony settings helped me. Your Sony settings helped out my X85J Sony TV, and now the picture setting is way better than it used to be. Well, I appreciate you kind of like letting everybody know that, and that's always like my goal when I do these settings. And I'll just be really frank here. I do find it funny because from time to time I'll have people like on the AV Science forum that like to start nasty little rumors like you guys are all just being scammed if you join. Every member is just being scammed, and it's like, hey, if that's what they want to believe, they can believe it. We're not here to talk about them, but I love seeing this, like, genuine happiness and, like, being able to help you out, because truly that's what I do it for, right? It's a $5 service. You get the best settings possible for a television that most people kind of write off. Like, you think the X85J, they're trying to push the A95K, tell you got to spend more money to go up in an OLED. You don't necessarily have to do that to get a better picture, and so the fact that I was able to help you out with that, good enough for me, man. So thank you for communicating that, being a member, getting what you needed, and having fun here. So I appreciate that. We've got Jakey. What's going on? You said, any thoughts on getting the U9DG? No, don't do that. I don't care if they drop it down to like $5, bro. $2, $1, a penny. It could be penny stock. Don't buy that TV. The motion blurring and motion smearing on the Hisense U9DG is legendary. It is probably one of the worst TVs I've ever seen for motion blurring and motion smearing. And then it's really like not even that much better as far as like motion, like a processing perspective. So contrast, clarity, color rendering, all of it worse on that television. So for everybody out there who's wondering, that opinion, again, much like all my other opinions, not brought to you by Hisense, okay? It's just the truth. That TV is not good, so I would not buy that TV, man. I would run from it 100%. But I want to try to find the second part of that question here because the chat is coming in. So you said they fixed most of the issues with firmware since your review. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it since, so it's hard for me to say how much of it they've fixed because, like, from a processing perspective, they still had some motion issues that I still would think would probably be a problem. But, I mean, if you think they're fixed, you can always give it a go. But, like, I did not like that TV in the slightest. I really honestly think even if they did fix all the problems, for the money that you can pay, the U8H this year, 1,000 times better in terms of price to value ratio and just what the TV gives you. It's just a better TV. So that would be my recommendation. We've got, I got the 55-inch C1, and I have flickering and white flakes on the screen. What do you think it is? I mean, honestly, without seeing it, I couldn't really say off the top of my head. I haven't really experienced anything like white flakes or flickering, so I'm drawing a blank right now. We've got, yeah, actually, I calibrate my own way, but I learn a lot with your awesome settings. Yeah, I think that's kind of, if you're going to go off the rails, learning and then applying it is always the best way. Because, like, for example, my settings are a great base, but again, I'm not the only person in the world with the only answer to how what you prefer should look, right? And that's my biggest thing with this whole, like, reference accurate thing or director's intent or all this crap. It's like, listen, like, people have different preferences, right? I might prefer, like, warmer, more vibrant skin tones. You might prefer more muted, desaturated skin tones, but you can still learn something and take from ideas and concepts, and if you're able to do that, I always preach about creativity on this channel, so Big C Dub, if you calibrate your own way, hats off to you. I think, honestly, you're a step above most of the naysayers out there, or in general, just people who don't give a chance to creativity or original thought processes, so power to you, man. I can hear Vincent's voice saying filmmaker mode. Yeah, I mean, hey, if he likes filmmaker mode, he can like it. But, like, let me just, for everybody, like, right now watching, like, just say this, like, my biggest problem with filmmaker mode, and the only issue I've ever had with filmmaker mode, is it's not like a one and done thing. Like, on every single TV, it means something different, right? There's not like, this is period, like, we epitomize reference accuracy 100 billion%, and we don't need to be calibrated. But that's what it means when you say the director's intent mode and you're, like, trying to sell it up and fluff it up as, like, this is the filmmaker mode. But, like, some TVs, like, it just looks so damn bad. Like, the TCL, I think that I just got done with the R655. That filmmaker mode was a joke. You cannot call that filmmaker mode. It was terrible. But what are you going to do, right? Not everything is created equal in this world. So, yeah, that kind of thing happens. $1,800 in Canadian equals $1,300 basically US. Damn, that's ridiculous. Man, I mean, not to talk shit or anything, but, like, you could always move. If you're a native there, I don't care, man. Like, if in the US they were like, dude, $1,300 now is going to be the new 1,800 or some shit, like, I just did. Like, I'm not gonna sit here paying Hawaii prices, like, every day. Like, I don't live on an island. I'm not secluded from the rest of the world, so shipping things isn't that hard. I don't understand that. But again, I don't really know the dynamics of Canada either, so I can't really speak on that. I'm not too keen on massive brightness. The black levels on the U9DG seem way better than the U8G and the U8H. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to weigh in with that one. The black levels on the U8H they're tops right now. Like, they're pretty damn good. Like, there's a reason I compared it to my OLED. I'm telling you, dude. Like, you have to see it. The U9DG is good, but it's still just okay, and the brightness is not great. But here's a kicker, right? Let's say, like you say, you're not a big fan of brightness, like 2,000 nits of brightness. You have no interest in that. That's not why I always preach about having super crazy bright TVs like that. The reason is because when you have a TV that capable, you have what's called headroom and wiggle room to be able to get more luminosity out in the lower end. Think of it like a really kick-ass speaker versus a cheap speaker. A cheaper speaker might need higher volumes to sound better, but a good speaker, you can rock it on a low volume and it bumps, right? This is the same concept. If you have low brightness, you don't really have a headroom when you start going to lower brightness to get more luminosity out, because it just doesn't have that kind of capability. It wasn't designed with luminosity in mind in the algorithmic processing. The same thing, I mean, like, it's just kind of like that principle that I'm talking about here, where it's just, again, the more brightness you have, lower it down to a level that you're comfortable with, and the best way to do that is by eye, right? You're in your room, you see your lighting conditions, how the sun's hitting, how your lamp's hitting, whatever the case may be, and just take that backlight down until your eyes stop being fatigued and you start feeling comfortable. That is the number one best way to solve any kind of brightness issue. So, like, anytime I find anyone, whether it's a customer or a person on YouTube here that has a problem where they're like, oh my god, like, the brightness is too bright, just take it down, man. I was seeing that complaint a lot with the Samsung S95B on the firmware I'm on. But, like, dude, even just take it down like a few notches and you're good. Like, you know what I mean? So hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight there. I've really been looking into the LG C2 with the whole gaming and movie quality. I know it doesn't match some other TVs, but it's the best, or it's the gaming TV, or you're saying, is the gaming worth it? I think in terms of gaming, the C2 is pretty adequate. It's fine. But again, I think if you can find a C1, you could do that as well. I know they're hard to find, but if you can, it's probably the better route because the C2 does have some motion issues in comparison to it. We've got looks like your voice is a little out of sync. Yes, I know, unfortunately. Negative, but up to you. My U8G barely has any blooming. You said, and I've heard the U8H black levels are even better, so it's up to you. Yeah, I mean, the U8H, it's basically a champion as far as black levels go. I haven't seen black levels that deep on an LED set in a minute. Like, it's been a really long time. So, you know, hopefully that helps. Kelly Rivaud, what's going on? You said, what's that lamp always, was that lamp always colored? It was always colored. I just kind of like switch between themes. You know, sometimes I have it colored, sometimes I have it off. Most of the time I had it off for the most part because I just didn't really care to have it on. I don't know. It's just like I felt like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just turn it on. So I just turn it on randomly. You said, is that new or am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. I just, for like the last, I would say last 100 uploads that I did for the most part of the year, I just had the lamp off because I didn't really care. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I just took my light bulb out and I like put it in a drawer somewhere, and I just put a standard light bulb in and I just used it like as a regular office light, but then like I didn't really care after that, so I just put it back in and just started all over again. So yeah. Have you ever thought about reviewing other screens, phones, monitors, laptops, etc.? Would love dedicated reviews on Mac Pros, Androids, iPhones, etc. compared to the competition. Something like that would be really cool, but I found myself kind of trapped, right, as a content creator in like a certain purgatory. Like in the TV space, like I can make TV reviews all day, every day. People will watch them, they'll interact with them, and we'll have healthy conversations like now. I step one toe out of TVs and I start talking about something not related to particularly TVs. For example, phone reviews, tablet reviews. I've done tablet reviews before. You know, there's just like no interest in it. Like, just do not care one iota. And it's hard because I feel like every YouTuber kind of has that point. Like, you're already built up and established as something. Like, you're known for this one thing. And like, I don't know what the like mental shutoff is for some people, but like when anything new is introduced, it's like, oh no, I don't want to watch that content. Like, it's weird. I just don't understand it. But again, I'm not like a darling celebrity, so I guess like my every move doesn't really matter to people. So if I try to tell you about tablets or phones, even though I have the experience or expertise to, you know, measure them, see their light output and all that other stuff, and to run them through charts and graphs and all that, it wouldn't matter to people. Most people are just looking for phones. They don't care about the technical aspect, and for that, I'm sorry, but I'm not beating like Marquise Brown. Like, that's not gonna fucking happen. They've already got the like monopoly on that game. So it's just kind of like I'm sitting here like, well, I mean, I'll do what I can, you know. I thought even about like reviewing my Samsung S22 Ultra when it first came out, but I was like, there's no point. Nobody cares. So it's kind of like that weird thing. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If there's a niche that you guys want me to cover, I mean, you guys already know I do gaming and movie reviews on top of the TV stuff. But if there's something else you want me to cover, like just let me know en masse. And again, I do all the work that I do based off of consumer feedback, and like let me know how you feel, and then we'll work from there. So hopefully we can make something else happen. You're getting the RTX 490, 4090 Ti. No, I have no plans. I'm pretty pissed off with the 3080 Ti. It's still de-optimized for Mortal Kombat 11, and I highly doubt a new GPU is going to fix that. So for me, I'm just kind of like, fuck it. I got what I got, you know. I feel a little finessed, I'm not going to lie. But I think that's something everybody else has to kind of figure out. And another thing, like with next generation, that really has me like put out, right? They talk all this nonsense about power, all day, every day. You buy into it, thousands of dollars down. What is there to play? Like, we're all waiting for Hogwarts Legacy, dude. Like, there's not shit to play on these games. We haven't even seen an Unreal Engine 5 game. And I'm just, like, not even like a real concept for the first ever game to run that engine. And I don't know. For me, it's feeling a lot like a finesse and a scam, because you spend the whole, like, what was it, like since 2020 trying to get your hands on these things, paying scalpers and all this shit, you know, and now what? There's nothing to play, and there's still nothing to play. And you can't use the excuse. I mean, I swear, if they're not using the pandemic as an excuse, they're using inflation as an excuse. But every excuse not to deliver what you paid for. And so, like, I'm at the point now where I don't even game as much anymore. I'm just kind of like, bro, I'm going to play Nintendo Switch. I'm going to invite a bunch of people over to my island, and we're just going to go, and we're going to have a big-ass purge on Animal Crossing, and I'm just going to upload it to my channel on some, like, whimsical shit, like, have a laugh with me if you want, kind of thing like I just did. Because gaming is so dead right now, like, it's garbage. Like, there's nothing, like, nothing. And if there are games that come out, it's like, bro, they can't stop. They can't turn it off. It's like they want to get woke on you, and then now they're introducing politics. And, like, I'll be very real with you. If they're not doing that, they're like, oh, let's make everything super challenging, not give you a difficulty toggle or buggy or glitchy. And my thing is, like, I don't know, like, how many of you guys can relate to this, though. I work real damn hard, right? Like, at my real job. So, like, when I'm here and I'm, like, trying to unwind in my personal life, I don't want a challenge. I want my hand held. I want to be caressed. I want to be treated like a little baby, if you want to call it that, because I already have a challenge in life to make all my money during a time of inflation, layoffs, and all this other shit. You got to hustle out here. Why do I want to hustle in a fictitious universe? That's some shit that, like, teenagers do because they have no time. They don't have anything but time, right? They don't have responsibilities. Like, that's me, though. Like, I'm not sinking hundreds of hours into games. I'm not, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to sit here and get finessed again on a 3090 Ti. They raised the price, by the way, which, fucking disgusting. You want $1,600 for a GPU, bro? Like, it has never been that much. But you know what happened? They saw scalpers screwing everybody, and they said, you know what? He's got a point. Raise the price. Like, you're just doing it because you can. It's not like you're delivering some game-changing experience, NVIDIA now dropping this big bomb on the market. Like, it's not that great. Like, I don't know. They're just greedy, in my opinion, and they have no respect for the consumers. And honestly, my position on it is like, listen, I get it. It's their flagship. It's their high-end card. I mean, it's not even a matter of, like, being able to afford it or not being able to afford it. It's principle. Like, it's like, dude, you literally decided arbitrarily, like, we're going to raise the price on this because we can. And it happens at a time where inflation is at its absolute highest, and people are already trying to cut corners. So I think when that's the case, that's where we kind of have to, like, damn, Vincent came back again. There's a time where we have to kind of, like, do what we have to do and kind of, like, walk away. I think gamers need to start speaking with their dollars a whole hell of a lot more than they're doing now, where it's just like, bro, they get us on everything. They come out with a new Xbox, so many people are going to drop the dough down. No games to play. We're still waiting. We're still hoping for something worth a damn from a first party, third party, doesn't matter. And it's just, I get annoyed by it, but, you know, it is what it is.
Bro, that cough's so infectious. You finna have Mickey Mouse gloves on your next live stream.
I'm gonna have Mickey Mouse gloves on my next live.
Symptom.
That's funny as fuck. Oh my god. I gotta love the humor of Mrs. Q over there, man. All day, every day. But yeah, so hopefully that helps you guys out. Last question of the night comes from Enoch. I appreciate your brother being here 24 months with us. You said, what I like about Fire Cube TV opposed to Apple TV, it allows you to take advantage of 12-bit color on 10-bit displays, which I love that shit all day, every day on, like, my Sony BPS 6500. Awesome Blu-ray player. Regular Blu-ray player, but awesome Blu-ray player. Fucking love it. Still use it for, like, everything, dude. Bro, like, straight up probably just gonna watch Demon Slayer after this, like, just on some, like, unwind and relax shit. Like, it's a godsend on some of these TVs. Oh, speaking of which, for my Sony A8G guys, I got some new settings for you. For my, what is it, S95B guys, I've revamped some movie settings. Them bitches are gonna look amazing. I'm, like, still taken back by them. And I'm working, after all of the feedback, I mean, let me go in real time. What was the number on that? Out of, like, 1,100 votes, 52%. It was overwhelming. I couldn't even believe it. Still, because it's an older TV now. Not older, it's just a year old. The LG C1. But there is, out of, again, 1,100 people, 52% wanted the LG C1 HDR settings. So all you guys who want those settings, now would be a good time to join. I'm going to be working my ass off to make the best HDR settings you've probably ever seen in your life. But that's just what I'm going to be working on. So you ask for it, you'll get it. So we'll make that happen, and then, again, making sure I answer Enoch's question. Yeah, so, yeah, it wasn't really a question, but a statement. You said, it reminds me of when you push, yeah, exactly, when you publish a video on Blu-ray. Yeah, and that's kind of like my big thing. Pushing wide color gamuts I love that shit. It really changes the dynamic. So since that wasn't a question, I'm going to go and answer one more question. And that's going to be from Nick. And I'm going to just say Nick D because I don't want to mess up your last name here, brother. You said, can I use the C1 settings for the C2? I think, yeah, it should be pretty much a universal like lateral transfer because the UI is pretty much exactly the same. Picture quality is pretty much exactly the same. And I remember when I had the C2, I was there and I was plugging in all my old settings to see if it could work, and I did see it worked to a great degree. There were variations, though, where like for some settings you did have to lower brightness a little bit more. You maybe had to go to a different color temperature on some things because like per the panel variance type of thing. But for the most part, it was pretty much a dead ringer and you didn't have to do anything else. So for all my C1 work, always apply it. And then also as a general rule of thumb, like if the model is of a similar tier, for example, LG C1 settings, and you have an LG C2, it never hurts to try the C1 settings because chances are they didn't change too much from last year's model to the point where you can benefit from those settings. So if you're already in the membership and you are like, I'm noticing there's not much support here for the C2 or whatever the model is, but there is for this model that's comparable to it, it never hurts to try those settings out. And I've actually heard, even like as far back as like the C9, people were using my C10 settings with excellent results. So it really does just depend, but mostly I would say, yeah, give it a go. All right, so that's pretty much it, everybody. I want to give a huge shout out to Kelly Ravad. I want to give a huge shout out to HandyCart for you guys helping out tonight, making sure that the chat stayed clean, people weren't trolling, that kind of thing. Love you guys. You guys are fantastic. And really, that's pretty much it. We'll continue to do this live stream kind of, I guess, Fridays, 7 p.m. through 8 p.m.-ish. It really does just depend. So hopefully this video helps you out. If you got value from this live stream, make sure you join the journey, subscribe, smack a like on the video, all that fun stuff. And bring your questions. I love having these conversations. Shout out to Big C Dub and Jay Daniel, our two pumpkin gang guys. I got to get the pumpkins, right? We got our two pumpkin gang guys right here, Jay Daniels, Big C Dub. You guys are going to go on the pumpkin wall somewhere behind me here. Maybe I'll take my painting down and put you guys up there. And we'll start building back up that pumpkin wall. Pumpkin gang gang, you guys know what it is. So thank you guys again for watching and being a part of the live stream. And until the next time, I'll see you later. God bless, take care, all that fun stuff. And that's pretty much it.